Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have missed filming so much, so I have decided to come back and I'm so excited and I really missed this. This video is going to be fun and I haven't really seen this much out on the internet, but I have decided to share with you lovely people all of the lesbian books that I have read so far. I have read all of these books with my lovely Kindle Oasis. No, this is not an ad, but I just wanted to share my Kindle here because this is how I read my smut. This video is perfect for those of you who are looking for some Sapphic books to read or to add to your TBR because these books are awesome and you should read them. And because I read on a Kindle, I buy these books from Amazon, which I will link below in the description box below. No, they are not affiliate links, but they will be linked down below for your convenience. Without further ado, let's get on into it. Lego. This first book is great for people who want to kind of dip their toes into the lesbian romance genre because it's not really smutty. It's more of a vanilla book and it's great to start out because that's how I started. It's the first book that I read of this type of genre, and that book is called Naked and it's by Melissa Teresi. Let me tell you, this book put me in a book hangover, okay? I could not move on for months, okay? I absolutely loved it. I even have the physical copy because as an ebook reader, I definitely, when I love a book, buy the physical copy because I'm that type. So this book follows two ladies. We got Ava and we got Lakin. Ava is an office worker and Lakin is a barista. One day, Ava comes in and Lakin just falls in love with her. They both love each other, but Lakin still thinks that Ava is just a friend when even her friend Steph keeps on telling her she likes you, Ava likes you, but she keeps saying no, that's fine, no. So that's the one thing that's kind of frustrating with this book is that Lakin doesn't see that Ava likes her. Because the whole time you're going, you don't see that she likes you, you don't see it. Before I get on to the next book, I just want to point out that I have my iPad here. Yes, the cat is out of the bag. I do have the Pro now. I will be doing a what is on it. So if I look down, I'm just looking at my notes here. So just to tell you, just so that you know. I have been tired of this book hangover for a while now. So finally, I decided I'm going to pick one and I'm going to stick with it. And that book was The Stepmother by Melissa Teresi. You are going to notice that I read a lot of books by this author. This book follows a girl named Haley. And at the beginning of this book, she walks back into her childhood home, to which she finds her stepmother living there. Her dead father's wife. Well, I guess ex-wife because he's dead. So as soon as Diane, which is the stepmother, walks down the stairs, Haley just instantly falls in love. Now this is an age gap romance, okay? So this whole story kind of follows them two in their journey, of Haley moving in and then they go to Ibiza and all that fun stuff because Haley is a DJ. Diane, kind of comes to her shows and everything, and it's just a story just pretty much revolving around them two. Yeah, I don't want to give away too much of these books because I want you to still read them and find the plot twists, but I'm just trying to give a general idea of the book so that if you want to read it, go do it. This next book I read, it is a part of a series, part of a 2-book series, and it's called Read Between the Lines, and it's by Rachel Lacey. This book follows 3 main characters. We got Rosie, Leah, and Jane, which Jane is an author who on her books is known as Bree, which is Rosie's favorite author. So Rosie runs this bookstore called Between the Pages, which is a bookstore name that I love and I want in real life. It starts off with Rosie putting Bree's new book in the window so that people who are outside can see it and maybe want to get it. So then as Jane and her little niece are like walking down the street, Jane sees her new book in the window and goes in to kind of investigate. So they both meet Rosie. Rosie helps Jane's little niece find a book, and then Jane and Rosie start talking, and what Rosie doesn't know is that Jane is actually Bree, and when she finds out, it's like, oh my god. But then Rosie gets this notice of which she has to leave her shop because I guess her like landlord wants to put something there instead of that bookstore. So Rosie has to find a place for her bookstore. And so she's trying to find a place. Jane's also helping her and all that fun stuff, which I'm not going to say if she actually does find one because I want you to find out for yourself because I feel like that might be a spoiler. And the series is called the Miss Wright series. This next book, in case you haven't guessed, is book 2 of that series. It's called No Rings Attached, which is by Rachel Lacey. Now this book I thought was going to be a continuation of book 1. I was wrong. It's got some of the same characters, but the focus is more on the side characters of book 1 than like the same ones. So book 1 was more focused toward Rosie and Jane, whereas book 2 is more toward Leah and this character Grace. Grace is a character that is friends with Rosie, but Leah has never met before. Whenever Leah is gonna meet Grace, she just bails out. Grace just bails. Leah thinks that she's not real, but Leah, her brother is getting married and needs a like fake date to the wedding because Leah keeps telling her parents that she has a date when in fact she does not. So then Rosie's like, oh, let me pair you up with Grace. Yeah, so they finally meet and there's kind of tension there. It feels like they want to be together, but you kind of feel them like not doing much about it because Grace doesn't really want to, want that kind of relationship, but like Leah does, so there's just like tension going on. So they go to the wedding with this as, a date and stuff, and the story follows like Leah and Grace and, things that they do, that they travel together and all that fun stuff. For me, I preferred book 2. I mean, I've noticed that I have been preferring book 2, which is, I don't know why, but it's kind of like, okay. It's not that book 1 is bad, but I've been liking book 2s of series. I don't know why. I just like the story better. I don't know. But be warned, this is just a warning. Book 2, the ending of book 2 will make you want book 3. I'm not even kidding. It will make you want book 3. And I tweeted Rachel and I was like, are we gonna have a book 3? Because like how you wanted book 2, it's kind of making me want more because I want to see if this thing actually happens, which I'm not gonna say because I'm not gonna give it away, but I want to see if this thing happens. People who know, We want book 3, Rachel. We want book 3. Please, we want it. But she replied saying she doesn't have plans for it, and I'm like, why? But why? You ended book 2 like that? No. I want book 3, because I will buy it. I will buy the book. I don't care if it's $30. I will buy this book. Okay? Because I want to see if this thing actually happens. Okay? Please. But she has no means to do it. So let's hope and pray that she changes her mind. This next book is one of my favorites, and it's called Discovery. It's by Melissa Teresi. Again, I read a lot of her books. I really like her books, so when a new one drops, I jump on that bandwagon. And I read mainly on a Kindle, so when that book drops, I'm like, yes, let's go, let's get it. This book follows Caroline, or she is also known as Kaz, and she just wants to get back out onto the dating scene and find a partner. So then her friends are so kind, her friends are so kind to set her up with an escort, Ava, who is also known as Hannah. Now, there's some sort of like thing going on here. It gets kind of complicated because Hannah has a daughter named Edie, who is the sweetest child on the planet, okay? I mean, I know she's a fake character, but if she is real, she would be the cutest thing ever. So Hannah has a daughter named Edie. Caroline is Edie's teacher. You see where it gets complicated, okay? You see this, right? Caroline and Hannah fall in love, but again, there's this complication going on. As an escort, Hannah has different clients, so she has more than one person to deal with. They both fall in love, so like that's kind of a thing that kind of like puts a dent in the plans. But then also Caroline is Edie's teacher, so to have your mom and your teacher be a thing, I haven't really heard of this thing really happening, but it probably does. I just don't know. But the things that Edie says, the cutest effing thing. Like, she's so supportive of lesbians. I'm just like I had to highlight some stuff because it's the cutest effing thing, which I have mentioned in my Goodreads tags. So if you haven't watched that, go watch it. So this paragraph starts here. I'll screenshot it. She's really nice, and she's nice to you too. Edie looked to the door and back to Hannah. Mom, is Miss Baker a lesbian? Like, at that point I was like, my heart. And my note was, it's cute that Edie is curious and very accepting. Like, my heart like aches for her. Like, it's so cute. Come on, if you haven't read any of these books besides Naked, pick up Discovery, please. Your heart will, like, Edie will definitely touch your heart. I swear she will. So if you have any more escort book recommendations, leave them in the comments, please. Just because this one was one of my favorites. And then I read In Her Arms by Melissa Teresi. This one, it wasn't a favorite. I mean, I liked it, but it wasn't like my favorite. Like, I could take it or leave it. I'm sorry. It's just what I thought about it, but I read it anyway. It follows two characters, which we both know are female. We have Reagan and we have Frankie. Reagan just wants to go to a bar, which is a gay bar, and enjoy herself. But she then meets this woman named Frankie, and she's amazing. But Frankie is tired of the city life and wants to kind of, I guess, move out toward, more of a country life. So she finds this place that happens to be next to Reagan. And when Frankie calls in to the person that is sharing this house, it happens to be Reagan. So then they kind of live next to each other. The story kind of like follows them interacting as I live next to each other. So the next book was a new drop when I read it, and it's called Stars Collide, and it's by Rachel Lacey. This book is like celebrity fan romance. Pretty much is how you can describe it. And it follows this singer named Eden Sands. Her marriage has ended and her circle is smaller than ever, but she wants to kind of branch out and kind of to like try to promote herself. So then her team suggests to kind of collab with someone, and that someone is Anna Moss. She's a fan of Eden, and so like she's more of a like newer star, and this story just follows them kind of like collabing on like a tour. So if you're into that like celebrity fan kind of like romance, there's your book. That one I didn't like love, but I liked it. It was all right. This next book, I have mentioned it in my Goodreads tag. I read it in 2 days. Not 2 days in a row, but I started it on a Friday, did not touch it all weekend, finished it that Monday. It was also the first book that I read that included BDSM stuff in it, and I liked it. It was pretty cool. I think it's also part of a series, but this is the only book that I have read that is part of that series. So this story follows two women named Melanie and Vanessa. Melanie, during the day, she does law school, but at night, she serves drinks at an exclusive club in order to afford her tuition. Then she meets this stunning woman named Vanessa. She falls in love with her. The whole story then goes off talking about their relationship that includes BDSM. That's what I wrote here as my notes. It would be an understatement to say that I highly recommend this book. Like, I read it in 2 days. 2 days. Monday, and then Friday, and then that Monday. Like, that's the fastest I've read a book. It was great. This next one I kind of was attached to more, but it also had BDSM themes in it, and that book is called Shadow Haven by AJ Shippers. So the book starts off with this character named Julia. Her boss sends her to this excluded island that nobody touches, as a kind of vacation from her job. But on that island, the owner is a dominatrix whose name is Alexandra, right? At first, there's kind of a bad blood, but then they start to get attached to each other. At first, Julia isn't allowed to go into the playroom, which is with all the whips and the chains and everything. And then finally, she gets a feel for it. And she likes it. At some points, I felt bad for Julia. Yeah, it was consent, but at the same time, I was like, oh my god, I almost wanted to cry. I just felt bad for her. I know this sounds kind of stupid, but there was definitely consent. But again, I just was like, don't hurt her. You know what I mean? My heart was like, don't hurt her, please. You know? Before I get on into the next book, I just want to mention that if my shot looks a little bit different, it's because I just had to clean out my SD card because I noticed that there's only 15 minutes left of filming instead of 29. So I cleaned it out, and so my camera moved a little bit, so if the shot looks different, that's why. The next book that I want to share with you guys is called Scarlet Fever. I did not write the author down, and I know it's kind of it's a longer name, so I'll check my Kindle of what the author is. And if I say it wrong, I am sorry, but I'm trying my best here. It's by Claire Heighton Stevenson. If I said that right, I know Claire, that's how you say Claire, but yeah, see, this is... See, that's the book right there, that's who it's by. So if I said that wrong, I am sorry. So, similar to The Stepmother, at the time of me reading Scarlet Fever, there was only one book, but now there's a second book as well. But this is book 1. It's called Scarlet Fever. This is a story that follows Claudia Maddox and Scarlet. Claudia was previously married to her ex-husband, which is also her kid's father. She has, I think, 3 kids. She has Diana, Zara, and Adam, I think. She wasn't really looking for a partner, but then she meets this gorgeous woman named Scarlet. Now, at this time, they didn't think that they knew each other, but one of her kids, I think it was Zara, who already knows Scarlet, but called her Letty. And then when they found out, then that was like, whoa, that she should have already known her, but they fall in love. But again, this is another age gap romance, that Claudia and Scarlet aren't that close in age, but they still fall in love. And so the story just features all these characters and how they interact. And then Miss Teresi drops another book. Melissa Teresi drops a second book to a book that she has already released, and that book is called The Show Must Go On. If I had you guess which book this was to, you probably could. It's the second book to The Stepmother. So that means we follow Haley as well as Diane, and this mainly takes place in Ibiza, where I think they're originally from England. But this is kind of when Haley kind of like meets back up with her mother, which she doesn't like at all. But I'm not going to give too much out, but how this all happens is in the beginning of the book, they meet this girl who is just like on the ground, like kind of like hurt. And so Haley and Diane help her. And doing this, they send this girl to the hospital, right? But then her mom shows up. When the mom shows up, Haley knows the woman because the woman is also her mother. So the girl would be her sister because her mom went off to marry somebody else. And so this story follows still Haley and Diane and her, like them, you know, how they interact. But then also Haley starts talking more to her mom. I'm not going to give too much away because I want you guys to read it and discover it for yourself. But that's kind of like the main point of this book. Again, I liked it better than book 1. I'm just saying. So, yeah. And then the last book that I finished is called Scarlet. And yes, this is book 2 of Scarlet Fever, which to me, like, I'm not trying to poke fun or sound mean, but to me, it feels like the titles are kind of in reverse order, because to me, I feel like Scarlet should have been book 1 and then Scarlet Fever book 2, but that's just what I think. I'm not trying to put hate, but that's just my thought about it. Like I said, this is book 2 to Scarlet Fever. So again, we follow Claudia and we follow Scarlet and we follow Claudia's kids, Diana, Zara, and Adam, and as well as Claudia's ex-husband. I can't remember what his name is right now. During this, yeah, it's more of that like love story, but also Zara gives a gift that it's like one of those gifts where like you give your DNA like to this like company, and then they will send you back your kind of like history, your like family history. But they find out something that's really crazy, and it kind of makes it a little bit complicated between Claudia and Scarlet. Again, I'm not gonna give too much away, but you have to read it and you're like, oh my god. Like, for those who know, but like, whoa. I just remembered Claudia's ex-husband's name. It's Jack. I forgot for a second, but now it came back up. But then you find out it's like, oh my god, wow. I'm not gonna give away what it is because I want you to find out for yourself. But yeah. So those were the books that I have read so far, and all of them are on my Kindle that I've read. Again, I'm a Kindle girly, as you see here. Let me know if you are also a Kindle reader, because we stand together, and yeah, so I pretty much don't pick up a physical book anymore, even though I have a ton on my shelf up there. I mainly read on this, and it's amazing. Like, I should definitely do a video just about this. I mean, I do watch them, so why not make one of my own? If you have any more recommendations for me that are lesbian, leave them in the comments, because I keep adding books to my TBR. I have books like literally everywhere. I have books that I have saved on Facebook. I got screenshots because I'm in some groups. I have them on my Amazon list. I got them on Goodreads. Like, I have so many books, and yet I don't know what to read next. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!
It won't go away. I've got that feeling rushing through my body. I know that it is here to stay. It's like you're my person.